Hey, good morning, and this is your next edition of Vision Alignment with Brian Wagner and Wes Wyatt. Whoa, we've got a great day lined up for you, and this is just the start of it. So what we're doing here today is we're talking more about how we can know what our vision is, but also begin to stretch ourselves. So my stretching myself comes from, what I do in the morning. I stretch myself, and I have my coffee, I have my breakfast. I don't turn on TV, but then I start to stretch, and I stretch for 10 to 15 minutes. That stretching allows me to be able to, just do more than what I can normally do. Because if I didn't stretch, I would be sore and I would be achy. But now with stretching, I think about how my stretching is really a metaphor for a lot of other stretching that I do. And that stretching comes from what I do here with Wes. And Wes does stretching as well. So Wes, tell us a little bit about your stretching and how you've done so much to stretch yourself.
Well, I got all sorts of things going off in the background, Brian. So I apologize. One of the things that is going off is I'm getting notifications that you're live. We went through about what feels like 10 minutes on talking to each other, and then realized that we weren't live. So I'm getting all these notifications for you. But the way that I stretch myself is by going out and learning new things. It's the most important thing that I feel that you can do. And I do it by, going to Google, going to YouTube, doing things like Skillshare and Podia, and just anything that has got a online, component to it, and just jumping in with both feet and just trying to learn new things and find the people that have done what I'm wanting to do and emulate them.
Yeah, I think that's great. Now, as we were saying earlier before we went live, and I thought we were live, how do you stay so dedicated, so locked in on your vision? You learn new things so well, and you retain them so well. So I look at what I've done here today. I have a Stream Deck. I have a 32T Stream Deck, by the way, and I have the StreamYard and the Ecamm and all this technology. I'm like, there's so much that's here, and I haven't been using it. But now that I'm coming back to it, I'm realizing that I need to be focused with what I'm doing. I need to have blinders on, so I need to shut my phone off. I need to put it on Do Not Disturb. I need to do the same thing with my computer and just lock down, because I know I can't be bothered when I'm doing that, because I'm not as savvy technically as probably you are. I'm sure not nearly as much as you are. But how do you do it? How do you just lock in on something?
We have a mutual friend, Eric Bam. He's one of the Megamind friends that I have in the mastermind group that I'm in. He's Eric with one eye, much like you're Brian with one eye. And he was saying the other day how smart I was. And I told him yesterday on my inaugural podcast, I said, where in the world did you get that idea? And I'm going to ask you the same thing. The truth is, Brian, my monkey trick is much like, Dennis Miller's. I heard him talk about it one time, that he has the ability to pull from a decent vocabulary and a retention of knowledge and, put it out there. But he does it because he does not want to go back to doing the things he did before comedy and writing and acting. And I think that's probably my monkey trick is I go through, I learn stuff by trial and error. A lot of the stuff that you see is the semi-polished version of it. It's the probably okay to go live at this point, but it's kind of like, and I don't have a deck of cards here, but I'm an amateur magician, and I can tell you that, one of the things I'll do is, a card from the mouth trick. And, people, when I do it, it's like they're thinking that I've sold my soul or something. But the truth is that there's just 10,000 hours of practice, behind it. And that's probably the same with this other stuff, is that I've went on YouTube and Google and all the other places I mentioned and have just basically played in the background. And I did it primarily because, or I should say I do it primarily because what you see around here is, what I call the infamous war room. And it's all, a big place. I mean, I've got my Michael Jordan posters and Batman stuff and all sorts of toys. And as you can see, yesterday, Eric said that, he said the smartest guy is the guy with the most monitors. I have monitors behind me. I've got 3 in front of me. I've got, just all sorts of cameras and toys. And the whole concept of that is that I don't want to go back to being in a cubicle. I don't want to go back to security. I don't want to go back to any of the things that keep me away from my family and working here. And especially, during COVID, being here in the quote unquote infamous war room is basically what keeps me here and keeps me doing the stuff that you asked about.
Isn't it great that we get to, spend so much time in our own home, but still at the same time getting out to other people and to tell other people, talk to other people about what we're doing?
Yes. And, I again, don't mean to keep hearkening back to other people, but I was speaking with Eric yesterday and I told him that with COVID, you're going to see something that's very interesting. And I've watched it happen over and over again over the years, not to the extent with COVID by any means, but I've watched hundreds of people come on and start a video challenge in the sense of maybe it's a video a day, or you hear these people doing the hard, is it 65 hard? I might have that number wrong, but it's a, daily thing where you take pictures and drink a gallon of water and all this stuff. And 75 hard, I think is what it is actually, now that I think about it. And all that's great. I think all those challenges are awesome, but it's kind of like the concept you and I have talked about in the past, the new you day. And I come up with that years ago, not because, it's an original idea or anything like that. I just thought it was clever because of the fact that during a New Year's Day, everybody makes all these grand ideas of things that they're going to do. But a couple days, a couple weeks, certainly a couple months into it, you can't find them doing it. And this COVID thing has caused all these Zooms and StreamYard and all the above, and people getting involved and saying they're going to go live and saying they're going to do a podcast and saying they're going to do this and saying they're going to do that. And they'll do it for a little bit. But what'll happen is after all this goes away, you're going to see people be away with it. And the people you and I have discussed this. As a matter of fact, you said it on one of your recent vision alignment shows, was the person that tells you that they're the expert long enough is the person that will probably be perceived as an expert. Now, with someone like yourself, someone like some of the mega minds that I am lucky enough to work with, and many other people that I know that are online, and I'd like to include myself in that, in certain degrees. We do have the chops. We do eat our own dog food. We do the things that we're supposed to do. And those people that a lot of times tell you, what you're supposed to do, they make money by telling you what you're supposed to do. They don't do it. So I think there's going to be a lot of people fall by the wayside and not do this stuff every day. I think they're going to, come on and be a flash in the pan and then be gone. And if you take the time to actually do what you're doing right now, I give you kudos on a regular basis. It doesn't matter if you've got, 2 people watching or 2,000. As time goes on, it's, I can't think of his name to save my life. Olson. Well, it's the Slide Edge, and it's Olson. Doesn't matter. His last name's Olson. It's the Slight Edge. And he says that it doesn't seem to make a difference in the act of doing it, but compounded by time makes all the difference in the world. And it, for us, is doing video every day when some people won't do it, down the road. It's going to be detrimental.
Yeah. Well, I'm so thankful.
Jeff Olson.
What's that?
It's Jeff Olson.
Okay.
It just popped in my head.
Okay. Well, I'm so blessed to have people like you that believe in me, and certainly I believe in myself. That if I didn't believe in myself, it wouldn't last very long at all. But having other people believe in me is just more energy to kind of keep the wheels turning. That's really important. And if there's ever anything I can do for your mastermind, I'd love to be able to do it. So I think that would be phenomenal. So
talk to Eric Bam. It's $20.21 a month. Anybody can get in it. So it's went from being a private group to being a offering to everybody, and there are some absolute powerhouse people in there.
Is he the leader of it?
He is.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I will have to talk with Eric. So
yeah, you need to. It's a great group.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. What else do you think we should be telling the audience about? Because our audience doesn't know what we know. They don't know how important it is to understand your vision. They don't always understand the importance of getting to your blind spots and being able to identify your blind spots. So what else should we be telling them? Maybe it's on a daily basis, because a lot of times we need to hear things over and over and over before we actually have them set in. What else should we be telling them that you can think of that would make sense?
I'm going to give you a critique for a second, Brian, and this is something that I think that you have said. Matter of fact, I think you said it yesterday. So this isn't going to be a dig by any means. You said it, and you've said it to me before in the past in private. And by the way, same thing for me, because I found it yesterday, and that is, I would tell you to take the advice that you said in one of your blind spot messages, and that is, ask other people what your blind spots are, but take it for what we're doing one notch up. And that is, always have something like what we're doing right now. Bring on anybody. It doesn't matter if it's somebody that is knowledgeable about something technical, or you've had some phenomenal guests on. I would bring people on this every time. And the reason why is because here comes the critique. You said this yesterday. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over again. You are. You can only talk about the Wink workbook so many times. You can only talk about blind spots from your speech so many times. Yesterday, you told a story about your father. Awesome. But bring somebody else on, and what's going to happen is it's going to stretch out the stuff that you thought you're going to talk about, and all of a sudden something else is going to pop in, and you're going to all of a sudden start bebopping and scatting and riffing with that person, and it's going to become a completely different show than what you intended it to be. And I know that only because my inaugural off topic on purpose yesterday was with Eric Bam that we talked about a couple times here, and I can tell you that it made the process go so much smoother. By having number one, a friend, but number two, a second sounding board. So if I was going to tell somebody, what to do, I would say, first and foremost, ask people what you should be talking about, and then bring those people on and say, hey, could you give me 5 minutes? Could you give me 10 minutes? And let's rap back and forth. I just want to test this software out, and as long as you're okay, I won't, you don't have to do your hair. You don't even have to wear pants. I'm not right now. I'm just kidding, Brian. I'm wearing pants. But just, go through and just bebop and scat with somebody else. And that is a scary thought, Brian. You covered your eye for a good reason. But just bring somebody else on and have that back and forth. It's the reason why a Joe Rogan, is so popular. Do you think Joe Rogan could come on every day by himself and talk and keep you engaged? He would probably be able to do a good job, but you got to realize some of his podcasts, he's one of the number one guys in the country, and he has podcasts that go 2 and 3 hours at a time. And when he's done, you're longing for more, and the reason why is because he's kind of bebopping and scatting with not only his guests, but his producer is talking to the both of them. And it just adds a whole new dynamic. So ask the people what your information or your blind spots are, and then bring them or someone else on and talk about it. And keep in mind, you don't have to do something every day, and you don't have to talk for 3 hours like Joe Rogan. You could have something once a month, once every 2 weeks, once a month. But the thing is I think just do it. Number one, take that jump, and two, figure out a way to make it easier by having a running partner.
And when you say a running partner, I mean, it could be somebody different every time, right?
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't have to. I mean, I'll tell you, this is really going to date me, but I think some of the funniest things I ever watched was Johnny Carson talking to Ed McMahon and Doc Severinsen. I mean, it was some of the best TV ever. And they may have been friends in real life. I don't know. They might have hated each other for all I know. But the banner that they had back and forth, if it would have just been Johnny sitting there talking to a camera, it wouldn't have been nearly as funny as him saying something, Ed laughing, him looking at Ed like, what are you doing? Doc leaning back and yeah. I mean, it just it's that extra dynamic that throws something in. I don't know what it is. I don't know what seasoning it is, but I just know it works.
Yeah. You're right. It does. It does. Well, this is good information. I appreciate you coming on today, man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, this has been great. I think what we'll do is we'll wrap it up here for today. But hang on in the green room if you would. I'm gonna be there in a second, but I will close down with this, and I'll just tell everyone that I love you, and as always, keep one eye on the road. Take care. Bye.